If I get your attention, Sam Fox is back, so we can go ahead and start this. First off, I want to thank all the existing Hall of Famers, and you can understand by looking at the back of our brochure, we've got a number of them who have been around for quite a while. And every time we do this, we recognize the ones that we've lost since the last time. We've got some very accredited Hall of Famers that we lost in the last 2 years. So one of them I want to make mention of is we're actually going to name any future Hall of Famers that are inducted as coaches as the Darrell Lashin Memorial recipient for induction into the Hall of Fame. Darrell coached in Loyal, had state champions for a Loyal team playing against Division I softball teams, and he kicked their butt. So, from here on out, Billy, we're one time too late. You'd have got the first one, but Bill Coker was put in at the last Hall of Fame ceremony as a coach. Anyway, let it be known that Darrell Lashin will be remembered for that. We've lost others. Our original Hall of Fame Board of Directors, Duke Poppy, Eddie Fandry, just guys who worked to get this thing off the ground that we lost. We don't ever want to forget what they've done and who they are. Not only for us here, but for what they did for baseball and softball around central Wisconsin. And again, this Hall of Fame is the Marshfield area, which includes any high school area that plays Legion here. It goes from Athens to Pittsville and Auburndale to Greenwood and all those schools in between. We've recognized the Spencer State Championship baseball team in the past, the Marshfield Fast Pitch Championship teams in the past, the Loyals. I work diligently with the athletic directors from those schools to make sure that those highly recognized, and I'm talking that have been recognized at the state or even the national level, get recognition as being part of this area's Hall of Fame. So, with that said, we're going to lead off with this year the men's slow pitch recipients. And this is kind of where I take the lead in that I was fortunate enough to leave Marshfield in the mid-'80s when I was 21 years old and go play while in the Air Force and play at a lot of national tournaments and around the areas, and in fact even coming back to some of the better tournaments while stationed in the Midwest, one of them being the Point Classic. And for those of you who didn't play slow pitch, there were teams from Ohio to the Dakotas, a lot from Minnesota, who would come to Stevens Point and play because that's where the best teams in the Midwest throughout the 70s and 80s and 90s, and I believe they're still running them now. Well, we brought a team down from the UP. We were pretty good up in the UP, and we played in the Point Classic in 1989. And I saw a guy that I remember back from when I was a kid playing for Auburndale State Bank, and knew who he was. He was quiet. There were guys from Auburndale, Lee Kemp, Al Mansell, and Al Ashbeck, who were very, very, very well represented in the slow pitch and as athletes all the way around from Auburndale. Well, in '89, when I came back to play in Stevens Point, I see this guy playing left field for a team that it was Miller at the time, but previous to that, it was the Flame. And there were teams over there, Congress Club and what have you, good ball clubs. But just like Troy's TikTok out of Wausau, they would pick up the better players that they could to try to better the team. Well, the left fielder was this kid, Al Ashbeck from Auburndale. And I knew some of the people who were playing there, the Krzyzkis and the Bohms, guys that I knew from the past with the Vandehey family and other people that I'm related to that would play against them. And Al's out there in left field. And the first game I saw, they were playing on the middle field at Zenoth. And a ball was hit to left center, and a fast son of a gun on first thought he was going to score. Well, Al came up smooth, long-armed. When he'd come up from the outfield and throw, it wasn't just zip, it was a strike. One hop to the plate. I thought the guy filled his drawers because he was halfway home, and the catcher sitting there, Mike Disher's got the ball in his hand. And that was Al Ashbeck. And that's the way he played. That really opened my eyes. And when we formed this Hall of Fame, and you talk about guys who maybe didn't play predominantly in the Marshfield area or right here, but left this area to go represent elsewhere, his name kept coming up and coming up and coming up. And well, the last few years we've started to widen that out. And classy ball player, classy guy. Two fine young gentlemen for kids. One you'll hear about a little later. And he married a Stargart girl who I grew up with, Gordy and Floyd Stargart and their kids, and Cheryl was one of them. She did good. He did better. But without going too much further, Al Ashbeck's been one of the best ball players in central Wisconsin for a number of years while playing, recognized by his peers, and that's the biggest attaboy you can get, is when the people you play against see what you've done. So with that, I would like Al Ashbeck to come up here, and we're going to induct him into the Marshfield Softball Hall of Fame class of 2025. Nope, you're in.
Well, it's nice to have some kind words. I didn't expect all those kind words, but it was fantastic. So I just have a couple thoughts on my how good and how bad Marshfield softball has been to me, and in a good way. The first time I played in this tournament, I was coming off, I just graduated from high school, and I played with a team, some of you may remember, that was managed by Butch Keel, and the only reason I got picked up was because I was a good baseball player, never played slow pitch before, and I was dating his niece for a little while. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, so softball looked pretty easy. So that first game, we were playing in the MAC tournament. We're playing at Brain Park. And that ball just never got there. I swung and missed both times and went to go sit down. So the other part of my Brain Park story is, what year, do some of you remember what year they changed it from, that they reversed the field?
1980.
Was it 1980?
I took care of it.
All right. Well, here's why I'm bringing that up. Because that year in the MAC tournament, the first game at Brain Park that year was the team I was playing with. I led off, and in my recollection, I owned the first home run ever hit at Brain Park after they reversed it. So that was kind of cool. I also, this was a pretty solid birthday present for me. My birthday was 9 days ago, July 31st. So this is a nice birthday present, and it lines up with the first birthday present. We won that state high school title on July 30th, 1970, one day before my 17th birthday. So those are two of the coolest birthday presents that one could ask for. I was lucky enough to play up here. I played for the Dells Bars teams for a couple of years in the MAC tournament. And my buddy Kenny Burtz, who passed away a few years ago, never forgave me for getting sick in the middle of the tournament. I played with them in '73, I think it was. And we got off to a fabulous start in that 64 team tournament, and then I got sick during the week, and I couldn't play. I got somehow attracted mononucleosis, and I wasn't even kissing anyone. So, but anyway, he never forgave me because I couldn't play that following weekend, and then they lost the 2 title games to I think it was the Jarlis, maybe whoever it was in 1973. But anyway, so that's good. But I was able to be on a team that won the MAC tournament twice in '82 and '84. So that was cool as well. And the coolest thing about all this is I'm able to go into this fine establishment on the coattails of my son. So I thank him for that too. And mostly I'd like to thank Tim and Gene Delisio and all the people that are involved here for giving me this honor. Tim and I had talked about this a while back. My drawback was I played most of my ball not in Marshfield, but I had a good run of it for 18 years, and it was a lot of fun. So, thank you all.
Class act. Now this next guy, you know, you think about kids who grow up and come from within your community and where they take their talents and how far they put the dedication into it. And this guy grew up in Marshfield, was a good baseball player, got onto a team that was for probably 25, 30 years, give or take, was one of the stalwart top teams in Marshfield area, Stickert's Roofing from Chile. Gene Muschel started it, put some of these kids together, kids at the time, and then Ronnie Golden took it to another level. Todd Howard is nothing flashy. He's the life of the party off the field, and everybody likes him, and he makes people smile and laugh, unless he wears his Cubs shirt. Now, in fact, there are 4 other people from his Stickerts team in the Hall of Fame, and to show the love that they had for each other, and I mean love, because it was family. Their wives look forward to the weekends. The kids look forward to watching them play and trying to mimic their dads. And then the guys took the field and played it the way it was supposed to be. We had a lot of knockdowns against them. And I'll tell you, no games were ever easy. But Howie, as he's known, was the fluid in the backbone. He always, the minute you got in the dugout and the first pitch was thrown, there was seriousness on his face. Nobody played harder. There were guys better, a lot that weren't as good. But from the first pitch to the game being over, I don't know seriously if I've seen anybody play any harder than Todd Howard. And I know from talking to Gene Muschel, the first person who put that together, never had to worry about Todd showing up and playing the game hard. He may not have been in the best health at the time that the game started, but it didn't matter. So, with that said, I would like to see if a pair of Stickerts players would, Davey and Mike, please come up here. They're existing Hall of Fame members. They don't know about this, but we like to have... well, we can get all 4 of them. Come on up here. We like to have them be recognized or accepted into the Hall of Fame by their peers. So if you 4 would please come up here. These are 4 Hall of Famers from the same Stickerts team. We got a Chili Bound, we got 2 Greenwoods, and we got a Colby sitting here. But they came together, and this was a Stickert family. So Mike, if you don't mind, grab that plaque right in front of you that says Todd Howard. And it is my pleasure and honor to ask Todd Howard to come up and be inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Guess I'm buying the rest of it.
You're up.
You want this, or you want me to take it home with me?
Take it home. Hey, let's go in a bin somewhere.
Congratulations.
We're in the middle of a move right now, so we're moving houses. Thanks, Tim.
You broke it.
I did break it. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for the nice piece of wall art here. Growing up, we idolized Al playing the game and see how he played the game, and we wanted to watch what he did, and we took after him. A lot of us all did. It's gonna be short and sweet. We have obviously 4 Hall of Famers there. There could be another 4 more over there. Sorry, Mike. I do want to thank Ryan Jacoby and Terry Byrell and Mike Armbroster for serving up so many home runs to us.
I hate you.
But no, it was a family, and then that's how we treated it. It was a lot of fun. I probably took way too much more fun than everybody else, but playing cards, playing ball, family thing. Everybody clicked. We had such a great squad. A decade year, 15 years, probably. My wife, saint. She's going, whatever she does the rest of her life, straight to heaven. So she puts up with a lot of shit. So hopefully, I can't say that. So, I told her to try to be a little bit better now. And now it's her time. Tomorrow. Thank you.
Congratulations, Carter. Good work. Thank you.
Never a doubt, Bobby, you are going to heaven. Before we segue out of the slow pitch area, we had our first Hall of Fame induction ceremony at the ball field in 1999. And at the time, this gentleman was inducted into the state ASA Softball Hall of Fame. And being at that ceremony over in Stevens Point to watch this, it's kind of what triggered us putting this together. Not only after we did the Softball Association and formed that, but then recognizing those that were before us. And I just want to say, he's here tonight. Davey Holland is a softball player from Marshfield for years that was emblematic of blue-collar softball. Al, tell me I'm wrong.
Amen to that.
And it's not just at the 20s and 30s and 40-year-olds. The man played into his 70s. And he played into the 70s as a national level, at the national level with success. He means a lot to me, means a lot to Marshfield. Davey, please stand up so we could show our appreciation for David Holland. And he's just don't ask him to give your name, because he'll remember you on the field, but he doesn't know first names. So no, honestly, there's a guy that you would think would be out baling hay or picking rock, and he had the same mentality of work on the ball field. So thank you again. You started this, and you deserve it. Okay, now we get into a fun area. And I'm going to have Gene Delisio come up and speak in a minute, but we have two high school girls from the same high school here in Marshfield that, and I've talked to some coaches, don't know that it's ever been done before at the D1 level, that you have a first team all-state pitcher and catcher on the same team. That's what we're doing here. So without getting too far into it, I'm going to ask Gene to come up and talk specifics about what these two accomplished, and then we'll touch on it after. Gene?
Tim asked me to just come up with some background information on Megan and Emily, so I can do that. That's not too difficult to find. Marshfield in recent years has had a history of having catcher-pitcher batteries for 4 years. And Megan and Emily, one of that pair, and they played together for 4 years for the Marshfield Tigers, and certainly did quite well. Emily had a career batting average with the Tigers in the conference of .431. She was all-conference first team 3 times, all-conference honorable mention her sophomore year, but first team the other 3 years. And as Tim mentions, all-state first team as well as a senior. Then had a standout career at Upper Iowa University, a very solid Division II program. Megan pitched for the Tigers for 4 years, won 25 games in 4 years, struck out 393 batters in 263 innings. That's in conference play. Also in conference play, hit .455 with 20 home runs. She was all-conference second team twice, all-conference first team twice, co-player of the year in the conference as a senior, and the state player of the year as a senior as well. Then went to the Wisconsin Badgers and played a couple of years there and hit .287 with 6 home runs in 2021. So 2 deserving young ladies, Megan Donahue and Emily Drager, going to the Hall of Fame this evening.
Sean Lyon, would you please come up? Again, one of the traditions that we've done forever, especially on the girls' fast pitch side, when inducting somebody into the existing Hall of Fame, we ask somebody who has been there. Sean was a stalwart at the state level at Marshfield back in the late 70s and early 80s until her graduation. Went on to play at UW La Crosse. Her father, Lamont Ninist, was a preeminent fast pitch pitcher here in central Wisconsin for years. He's in the Hall of Fame. So what I want to do is I want to first ask Emily to come on up and accept your induction into the Hall of Fame from fellow Hall of Famer Sean Ninist Lyon.
Not one for speeches, so this will be short. I want to say thank you to everybody here. This is pretty cool. Tim gave me the call. I had no clue it was coming. I was actually in the Menards parking lot when he called me, so I had to stop and kind of take a second. So I really appreciate that. It was a lot of fun playing with Megan. We had a really good relationship even prior to high school. I think I was 12 years old when I first met Megan, so we've been together for a long, long time. She made playing the game really, really fun for me. Yeah, she means a lot. High school was a blast. It was fun coming in as freshmen, kind of being that battery that we were. It was so fun to see her progress pitching-wise. It was great. As a catcher, it was pretty easy. Strikeouts, didn't have to do a whole lot, just catch the ball for her. And then go back to the dugout and watch her hit a home run, congratulate her when she came back, and do it all again. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed working hard with her every day at practice, doing extra stuff outside of practice. we were really good friends, and I'm glad that she's here today with me to be inducted. So, thank you.
Very good job. I wanted to do this in between these two girls because there were accolades and a lot of kind words given from different coaches that I've talked to in central Wisconsin, but one who in himself could be a little bit controversial, but successful. The head coach at Spash, Tom Droner, wanted to send, when he heard these two were going in, wanted to send his congratulations and a couple comments he made. You were one of the steadiest catchers that he ever saw. And when you combined your job at the plate and your job behind the plate, you made yourself the best Wisconsin had. That's a quote. Never take it for granted. You never look for anything but to help your teammates out. You were one of the best hitters he ever saw. And he coached you for a while, and then you went elsewhere and expanded your game and expanded your talent base. You were phenomenal on the mound, and he told me over 350 strikeouts, but when you say 396, I'm not going to argue with you. But he hasn't seen many girls that squared the ball up the way you did. And it showed with your average. Both of these two hit over 500 their senior season. And that one was Player of the Year in the state. You kind of stole that from me too, Gene. Thanks. But it's something when a, 6-time state championship coach talks the way he talked about both of you two and your talents. So I wanted to pass that on to both of you. Megan, we got a personal thing. My daughter just graduated this year and was first team all conference, but 8 years ago sat in the cage time after time after time with Megan Donahue, talking her through hitting technique. And you actually brought back the desire for her to play again, because she wasn't going to play after a tough situation with somebody. But you brought it back, and we owe you for that. But Marshfield owes you. And I'm going to say this now. Elliot, listen to what I got to say because it goes to you also. But to have parents, and you guys know this, to have parents devoted to supporting their kids with not only the money and the time, but the effort that they put in. That's what makes it successful. That's what makes kids get the mindset that they can be successful in life as well as on the ball field or within the sports arena. So, Megan, you deserve this. Courtney ain't too far behind. But anyway, you deserve this. You were, as another coach said, one of the best hitters ever to come out of the Valley. So with that, Sean, do it again. Megan Donahue, you are joining Emily as an inductee of the class of 2025. Well deserved.
Congratulations.
Like Emily, I also do not like talking. I would not have been where I am today, obviously, without my family, but also Emily. So, like, as was said, that she was most steady. She was very much like my steady. Like, because, yeah, I might have had a lot of strikeouts, but I did have a lot of walks. And Em was the one that, like, would help calm me down and, like, make me laugh. So playing with her was the biggest honor. And we were, the duo that he talked about, the battery duo, and then the one that came after me was my sister. But yeah, it's an honor to be here. It was a bigger honor to help the younger girls that are coming up. So, and there's some more coming up through high school too. So, thank you.
All right, this one's going to be fun, and I got a whole crew in the back waiting for this. As I said before, we've recognized state championship teams that have gone and won a state championship year A or year B or whatever. But Division IV in 2017 and 2018 didn't know how hard a Blue Jay could affect them. And I will tell you that the respect going down to Appleton during these games and listening to the other teams talk and going up in the media area and talking to some of the coaches from outside the state. Illinois, Chicago, it's Brian Baldea was one of them. And just seeing how a team, and I'm going to be real, Athens had a couple excellent ball players and a lot of good and very good ball players that did this. We recognized your coach last year. I don't know how in the hell Stratford was so stupid to let him go. But he moved to Athens and he got an attitude up there out of the kids to not accept subpar performance. And you parents, you guys are owed a lot too, because Bill will be the first one to tell you that whatever he asked out of the kids was not hard to get, and it was because they got it from home. The Athens Blue Jays in those 2 years represented the community and represented Division IV baseball as well as anybody ever before. A 2-time state championship ain't easy, and you can name throughout the state in any sport schools that have done that multiple times, and those schools always seem to stand out. So, it is my very proud, I don't know, I'm happy to be able to call Bill, and if you could send up a couple of your players, hell, maybe all of them, to come on up and accept these 2 plaques as a 2017-2018 Division IV state champions to be inducted into the 2025 class of the Marshfield Area Baseball and Softball Hall of Fame. Please come on up. Let the little guy through.
Yeah, right. Here I am. I honestly don't know how there has not been a movie made about these guys with everything that they've endured. And I'm not. You don't want to listen to me. I'm no fun. But we are going to call Mr. Westfall up here, and he's going to do a little rendition. But hopefully he can. Yes, please come on up here. First of all, thank you, Tim. Thank you guys for everything here. This is phenomenal. And it's really nice to have everybody and to see some good old friends. I haven't seen Hackle in I don't know how long. Congratulations, Howie Aspects. Let's just let Rick talk for a while. He's way more fun.
Yeah, no, not true. Little bit about me and Bill. We started about this tall together. We've been together a long time. Driving out of the house tonight, get a text. Hey, you feel like saying a few words when we get here? Okay, I guess. One thing I will tell everybody that probably doesn't know, I think it's really cool with these guys in today's day and age with open enrollment and all that. this chokes me up. Every kid was on the T-ball team. Every single kid was in kindergarten here. Not one open enrolled kid on the team. So there was no, it was really cool. From this tall on, he taught him how to play baseball. And every single kid started in Athens in kindergarten and graduated on the state championship team. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff about him that he's right. We should write a book on it, but I don't know. That would take a long time because every one of them had their own. Every one of them contributed. You know, every kid when they would come up to bat, you never went, oh, you know, like every team's got that one or two. Not here. You'd be like, you know, he'll get us a hit or something. And they all had their own thing. I mean, he'd have to throw them all over the field. You know what I mean? They'd go from second to center field so you could bring in another pitcher. I think if they had a category, my one son probably have the state record for getting hit by the most pitches. Oh, I'm not kidding. And probably every other kid on the team, they just wanted to be on base, and that's pretty cool. One more story about them. Their second one, I think it was their second one. So I always like to go down and I like to watch him warm up. Bill had a really cool warm up. So we're at the state tournament, and I'm sitting there, and my older son comes out and goes, my younger son, Connor, he goes, he's really sick. And you guys probably don't know this whole story. And that was the first game of the tournament. And we all know they'd had some problems before that, really bad situation. I told him, I said, have Connor come out and I'll talk to him. He comes walking out of the dugout, he's our catcher. Head is down, he's white, he's sick. Oh, man, Dad, I don't know if I can play or not. So I gave him the Michael Jordan speech. I said, son, Michael Jordan had 100 and whatever 6-degree temperature, and he scored 60 points or whatever, you know. These guys need you. Remember that, Connor? Probably not, huh? And he goes, all right, I'll do it, man. Long story short, Lisa Check was our photographer. There's pictures all over these guys laying in the dugouts, puking. It was bad. The seventh inning.
Rich Hole was our home plate umpire.
Oh, yeah. So you would remember the seventh inning. The seventh inning, Connor's not coming out. He's not coming out. He's not coming out. And if Ithaca, they were playing Ithaca, who was ranked 1 and you were 2 or whatever, something like that. And we're all like, what's going on? What's going on? And Bill's out there talking with Ithaca coaches and the umpires. Oh, I don't know. It seemed like 5-10 minutes. Here comes Connor out of the dugout to catch the seventh inning, the final game. He was in the bathroom. It was coming out both ends. Yeah, and he caught the whole game. Yeah. I don't know how else to say it nicely.
So, in that whole situation, we had the privilege of having Rich as our home plate umpire, and I can remember going to Rich going, Rich, I don't know if we have a catcher.
Yeah.
And I said, and Lebecki's not going to be happy about this. And Rich was like, I got you.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah.
They won the game 2-1. Is that right? 3-1, something like that. They got back to their hotel, the coaches, and I think my cousin Dale called me and said, you might want to take Connor in. So 5 guys spent the night in IVs. That chokes me up too. Yeah. So there's some tough kids, man. Yeah. Wow. So that's all I got.
Yeah, thank you. They really are. I mean, these guys, they knew, and they weren't going to lose. I mean, it wasn't anything that we said. I mean, they weren't going to lose, and they did everything they could, everything in their power. I'm so proud of everything that they've done, right down to the end. And you know, amongst it all, we lost Tucker about 2 weeks before that. Dale and Tracy's son, Tucker, was a freshman on our team, and it was a horrible time, and these guys. I mean, I didn't know if we'd even play the game for sectionals. You know, we lost Tucker. We went to sectionals, and I'm like, I honestly didn't know if the bus would leave, and Tanner jumped on the bus, his brother. I mean, it was a really powerful time, and these guys wouldn't take no, wouldn't back down. They were incredible. So I'm super proud of this group. Super proud. The parents were amazing. The coaches were great. I mean, those guys are the strongest people. You know, when you look at Tim Krieger, you look at Dale Westfall, you look at Todd Eatum, they're the strongest human beings that I've ever met, and proud of them. And that's where this is. That reflected on these guys, and it was great. Jake Stang, you want to talk? Jake was our only senior in 17, the only senior right here, and he held us together. He did whatever he could, and whatever he had to do, whatever he was asked to do, he did. So yeah.
Same size.
Yeah. Anybody want to say anything? No. Thank you for this. This is a huge honor, huge privilege. We sure appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. God damn it. I'm proud of him.
Yep.
I think this one's yours, Jake. Jake.
And our last area is something that we kind of stand proud with every year, that we're able to get somebody who's embarked on the professional ranks. We have two. One of them, a gentleman from Marshfield who played actually back in the 1930s, and Gene will talk about him. And then Elliot Ashbeck, as Bodie said, the guy. So I'm going to ask Gene to come up and say something first, and then I have a few things after that. Gino.
Those of you who are a bit older and have been in Marshfield for a long time probably know that if we were meeting here 100 years ago, this place might be packed with people from the Hellickson family. The Hellicksons back in that era was a very large family, very involved with sports, very well known. But as happens in communities, they move away, they die out, and now we have no Hellicksons in Marshfield. But there were a couple of brothers who played sports here in the 20s and 30s who did quite well. One was Denny, and Denny played basketball and football for McKinley High School, which was the precursor to Marshfield High School, which was only about a few blocks up the road here. And Denny played basketball and football and then coached at Owen High School in the 40s and 50s. His brother was Ray Hellickson. Ray also played football and basketball. In fact, Ray played on the basketball team that went to the state tournament for Marshfield in 1928, but was better known as a baseball player and signed a pro contract in 1933. Now, normally I wouldn't stand here just to give you his year-by-year stats, but I'll do some of that just to indicate not only how good he was, but also keep in mind, here's a guy with stats like this who can't advance. That's how difficult it was to move up in pro baseball back then. Denny signed in 1933 to play for East Grand Forks of the Northern League, Class D team. He had 274, which is not too bad for your first year. 1934, he goes back to the Northern League to play across the border for Grand Forks, North Dakota. He had 315 with 9 home runs, and again can't advance, because in 1935 he goes back to Grand Forks. He has 316 with 10 home runs. 1936, he goes back to the Northern League and plays for Jamestown. Hit 327, 29 home runs, and 93 RBIs. 1937, he goes back to the Northern League and plays for Duluth. Hit 348 with 23 home runs. 1939, he's still in Class D, but goes to Lenoir in North Carolina in the Tar Heel League. Hit .316 with 14 home runs. By that time, he's 29 years old, and the St. Louis Cardinals tell him, well, you're too old, you can't play. So his career is over. Career batting average of .317 and 93 home runs, and he can't advance. That's how strong minor league baseball was back then. So long overdue that Ray Hellickson, a man probably not known by many people today, but long overdue that he gets some recognition from the community and from the Marshfield Baseball Hall of Fame. Since obviously Ray is not here, we're going to just segue right into our next recipient, who of course is Elliot Ashbeck. Elliot played for Marshfield High School and did a solid job for 4 years with the Marshfield Tigers. As a pitcher between 2009 and 2012, in conference play, Elliot was 13-6 with a 3.06 ERA. He struck out 130 batters in 127 innings. At the plate in 4 years, he hit .360. He was all-conference first team at 2 positions 1 year, as a pitcher and utility player. All-conference second team 2 other years. He then went to Bradley University, and in 3 years was 17-10, 3.58 ERA. 1 year, he was all-conference second team in the Missouri Valley Conference. Also that year, he was all-conference academic first team in the Missouri Valley. As a hitter, he hit .264 in 4 years, and 1 year was a nominee for the John Olerud Award, given each year to a college, the best two-way college player in baseball. Elliott then was drafted by the San Diego Padres, which is kind of good news and bad news, because the good news is you're in pro baseball. The bad news is you're in an organization which is overloaded with pitching talent, and Elliott had a tough time advancing with the Padres organization. But in 5 years was 16-10 with a 2.80 ERA and 10 saves. So did quite well. He was also at Bradley what they call the Friday pitcher as a junior. What that means is for college baseball, you go in and play a series Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and your number one pitcher usually pitches on Friday. And his last year at Bradley, he was the Friday guy, so he was the number one pitcher at the Bradley staff. So certainly Elliot Ashbeck also deserving for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
This is going to be kind of fun because neither of these guys know this is happening, but Elliot Ashbeck came from good genes. You heard that earlier. And he represented himself well as a gentleman on the field and a competitor to the nth degree on the field. I would like to ask him to come forward to receive his plaque as an inductee in the class of 2025, but I would also ask an existing Hall of Famer to come and present it to him. Al, would you please come forward and present the plaque to your son?
I don't know if we can take this out.
Take it out, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Didn't know this was coming until Tim called me, and called me a couple times. He called me during the workday, and I didn't answer. And then he said, "Oh, I talked to your parents." So I called my parents. I was like, "Why is Tim Krause calling me?" Like, well, you and your dad are both going into this Hall of Fame. I was like, "Okay, that's pretty neat." It's also good to know that all the stories from my dad, that he wasn't pulling my leg. He was pretty good back in his day. I kid about that. I mean, I know I didn't have much. I was too young to remember seeing him play softball. I know the softball scene was a little bit different back then than it is now. You know, more competitive. Now there's, higher levels of baseball that you can pursue after high school that there really wasn't available back then. But baseball has taken me all over the place, all over the country. Some really cool opportunities. Got to meet a ton of great people, and it all started here. So really thankful to my parents, coaches, people like you who put this together. And yeah, I didn't prepare a ton, but thank you. It means a ton to be with all the other inductees in here and keep it moving forward. So thank you.
Okay, before we finish up, I said a little bit about this earlier, but you see dads, husbands, kids, young ladies, mothers who have played this game but not without the support of their spouses, their parents, their better halves. So before we close down, I just want to say let's give everybody who's been in the support role for us as ball players a round of applause, please. And we'll do 2 claps for Cheryl because you got double tonight. So with that said, I guess we're going to close it down and say congratulations to everybody. Let's see you in 2 years, and we'll induct another class. We've already got it pretty well put together, but you guys did well. Thanks for everybody being involved. Have a good night, and God bless every one of you.